Welcome to Swim Radio, Students Welcoming Intense Media. I am your host, Ashley, broadcasting on the second floor of Reggie's Rec Room in our Record Breakers store. Continuing our theme of honoring inspiring women, today we have Julia Albane, Lauren Lopez, Jamie Limbaty, and Denise Donovan. They have created an inspiring website for women and girls to come together, share their stories, and become a part of a supportive community, knowyourglow.com.
We run it as sort of a blog type setup where each of us posts on a different day, and we'll kind of just post about what, something we've been thinking about in the past week or something we've been focusing on, and then we try to use that as a catalyst to get girls in conversation with each other and kind of help spark a conversation between girls where they can find a supportive community environment.
Right. And was that basically the spark? Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's usually we post something that has to do with what will help us even for the day too, or help us for the week. So it usually comes from something that we've probably already heard a million times before, and we sometimes don't follow ourselves, or like something that we need as a reminder. And it's really cool to see how other people are in the same boat as you and also needed the same advice.
That's awesome. Was it one person's idea? Was it sort of a collaboration of all of you? What was the decision-making process of having just you four? Was that like a conscious decision, or?
Well, it was kind of the culmination of the four of us just talking a lot, hanging out a lot, and like girls' nights where we'd end up talking late at night. And by the end of the night, you know what I mean, we'd end up, maybe the four of us were the last remaining, and we'd be talking about these things that we were dealing with and things that we were hearing from, because we obviously had started with this fan base, we were hearing from these girls, and just in the perspective that we were getting in being in our mid-20s and thinking back to the things that we thought when we were 17, 18, 19, 20, and how drastically your perspective shifts when you've like had a little more experience, and how you wish, like we would always talk about how we wish we could tell 18-year-old us the things that we thought were such a big deal. You were going to get through them. Like it really wasn't going to be the end of the world. And so through that one day we were talking, and we just talked about what if we did a night, or what if we did an event or something. And one day as we were talking, we said, this sounds like we've got a movement here that we could really start and make it a thing, and make it a community and a place where these people can go to, these girls can go to, and talk about the things that they aren't talking about in their other fan communities, in their in their friend groups, in their high schools. There's a lot of these girls that feel like they had that outlet within their own realm. And so I think that's really how it got started. It was really just the four of us in the room at the right time saying, let's do this.
Yeah, and it's not so much a thing of like, we have this profound wisdom to impart on other people. It's like, we're still learning as we go along too. But we could sense this need, and we'd been alerted of this need by some of the Star Kid fans and stuff, that kids and young adults need to know that they're not alone, and they need to find support within each other, because especially with girls, there's such an emphasis on this weird notion of girls being in competition with each other, and how girls are your enemy if you're a girl. So we really saw this need to sort of help foster a community where girls could find support from each other. It's not even us really giving the support. It's
That's
us
the
just
thing. It's like, as we're not necessarily in any position to say that we have any more experience or know anything, but oftentimes when you are reading about inspirational stories or things, it's sometimes told by people that are much, much older than you are, and so we're at kind of just a nice age for ourselves and for our readers that we are just out of having dealt with teenage issues, but then we also are still ourselves on the journey of like figuring out what it's like to be adults. So we're relatable enough in that like we still kind of have those ties, but we're also just starting to deal with paying for taxes and rent and things. So it's like it's this interesting thing of just like having someone to kind of be there to guide us through that. And we're helping each other.
It's also weird you mentioned like paying taxes. You're at a weird.
Taxes
sucks. But you're at an age where like when you're in your early 20s, you're sort of discovering who you are in a lot of ways, and you're not really a teenager anymore, but you're not fully an adult yet because you still don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's great that sort of you're sharing your learning experiences with other people. And I think what's so great about it is obviously we know you from Star Kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's your day job.
Right.
Is Star Kid Productions. And we think it's so great that you guys are using your fan base to do something good.
Well,
And like, can you just talk more about that?
yeah, that's something that we talked about too, where it's like within the fan base, there's a lot. I think what we were noticing is it's like you're interacting with the fans, and it was a lot about that, about like, oh my god, I love the shows, you know, so and so hot, like blah, blah, blah. And that's, you know, that's awesome. That's like, they're so funny, and that's so awesome. But we were like, there's all these girls, these young girls. You know that there's other stuff they're going through, and there's other stuff they're excited about, and let's get them talking about that stuff. So it's not just all about how hot so and so is, but how I am experiencing
You guys are all
this.
hot too.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, we know.
I'm sure you just
Just kidding, but thanks.
Yeah. No, you're glad. Yeah, but getting that, like, let's get excited about the other stuff. Let's get excited about your accomplishments day by day, and having the girls getting excited about each other's accomplishments, being like, that's so awesome that you got into that college. That's so amazing that you had the guts to stand up for yourself. And, you know, and then on the other side, I'm experiencing this hardship. I'm dealing with this hard time in my life. And then having other people come around and say, you know, I went through that too, or, hey, I'm going through the same thing. And it's amazing how when you start speaking up and telling your stories, how you find that so many other people are going through the same stuff.
A big thing for me, and like being sort of a newcomer to this group, was I would notice that girls would come up to us after the shows and they'd create some of the most creative, incredible artwork I'd ever seen. And first of all, we're so thankful because like that's what gives us the ability to do what we do. So it's like we're so thankful to them, you know, as like the number one. But then it's like they would hand us these incredible gifts and be like, I made this, I'm such a dork, or like I made this, I'm so, you know. And I just always wanted to look at them and be like, I used to think exactly how you think. I used to say that same thing, and like I so badly wanted to be like, you are cool.
Yeah.
Like this is not dork. This is incredible. It's talented. It's creative. It's unique, and it's different. And 5 years from now, you are going to be so cool. Like you just don't know yet. And like that's what always killed me, was like I'd get handed this gift and be like, sorry, I know this is like so dorky or so weird, but I just want to give this to you. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is a cool. I don't know if you guys like feel the same
I
way.
would
but
totally
like,
have that.
you
It's
got
like, we were
that.
totally
Yeah,
joking
you got that
about
like
it.
apologizing, like
Yeah.
self-deprecation. That's just like not
We were
needed. You're
terrified
awesome.
to give you these shirts
You know.
for some reason.
Oh my god.
Right.
That's
And the
crazy.
pins, it's weird, and like I just discovered you guys in like November, so we're new fans.
Got a
but, like, I
newbie.
mean, yeah. And like I watch interviews with you guys. I know you guys aren't jerks. You know, you're not gonna be like, this is stupid. But it's
working.
It's this natural thing that you have where it's like a fear of rejection almost. Where you
absolutely.
think
Yeah.
Right.
you look up to someone and you're like, they're gonna hate this.
And that's what we
Like,
want to drop. Like we wanted to drop this like fear in general, to be creative, to be different, to do something, to put
so
yourself out
important
there.
right now.
Just
Yeah.
drop the fear. Like just drop it.
Absolutely. And there's also, I think especially in, you know, the girl community, there's this weird thing that I've heard. I grew up with this too, and I still struggle with this, and I've heard a lot of our female fans talk about this, where there's this thing where girls especially... Excuse me, we're in a zoo, so... well, girls especially are taught that if they are confident, then that's cocky, and they're stuck up and snobby. So it's like, or you're a bitch. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like girls are constantly trying to compensate for that by cutting themselves down, by saying,
Apologizing.
I made you this amazing piece of artwork, but it's actually a piece of shit, and I'm so sorry to give it to you. You know, and
Yeah.
it's like, no, actually,
Yeah.
it's fine to say, I made you this, it's good, I worked really hard on it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's another thing that I think we're all really passionate about,
Yeah.
is building girls up to be like, you can be confident and still be a
It's okay.
great person.
Yeah.
You know.
And we've even had to deal with it in starting Glow, in learning how to be confident in what we've
Right.
created,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
not
yeah.
apologizing for it, and not being like, "Ooh, this is kind of cheesy and
Yeah.
We did
inspirational
that
and
too.
nerdy."
Yeah.
We're
is
like,
this
and we're
cheesy? Is this dumb?
we're still we're having to teach ourselves how to be like,
not
no, we believe in this. We're so passionate in it, and we're gonna stand up for it.
And
Yeah.
one of the things also that we often just see in popular culture in general is it's so easy for people to kind of, us included, to kind of make fun of girls' night or like girls getting together. And there was an Onion we read the Onion a lot, and there was an article that we particularly were drawn to. And it was, the headline was, or it was basically about girls going out and, as the article said, quote, like validating the living shit out of each other. So it's like going out and being like, oh my god, like, you know, you're so beautiful and like unbelievable, how, and like basically like all those like stereotypical girls like over validating and being girlfriends together. And it's joked about often, but there is something I think really important beyond making fun of it all, which we can understand the humor in, but like women just being strong for each other and, you know, supportive and like parents loving to like echo
it's all about
What we really want to spread through Glow is the message of loving parents.
Loving parents.
That's really why we're
do.
doing
Yeah. I mean, parents endorse Glow, so why don't you?
See?
Yeah, he's so into it.
He's like,
I mean,
He's not apologizing.
you're just.
But it is funny that we make fun of the fact that girls would be nice to each other.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
we
we do
mock
that.
the fact that girls sit around and give each other compliments, and you go, oh yeah, what a weird way to behave as human
Yeah.
beings. Like, we sit around and tell each other how pretty and how smart and intelligent we are.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's weird.
Weird.
That's funny that that's where society is. That
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
That people
It's
would sit
very
around and
telling.
be kind to
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
That's humor.
And then back to that point of like us saying, is this cheesy if I post this? Is this stupid if I post this? We were just talking about the other day, like Glow gives you a sense of ownership to your post, which has been really important. Like I've noticed if I write it, if I say it, I'm doing it. Like
you have
at
to
least
live
for
up
the
to
day.
what you
And then I go,
write
no,
that
for the
day.
week, for the month, for the year.
And it's
you know,
hard
and-
sometimes.
Right,
Oh,
it's
I know.
really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I read it. I read it every day. I'm on there every day.
Thanks,
And I posted a few times, you know, and it's nerve-wracking because those girls are so smart. All those
Yeah, they're so
They're
smart.
so
So
smart.
They're
smart.
amazing. I'm
They're
like, you
amazing.
should be posting.
incredible.
And then they're like, I'd like to question Eleanor Roosevelt. I'm like, yeah, go for it, because you're
You know,
smart.
because like I go to type and I'm like, God, these girls are.
Yeah.
They're so insightful.
A lot of them are younger than I am, which is.
They're way younger than we are.
That's what
I know.
That's what was cool, was like we knew this when you think of a fan base, when you think of fans, you think of them as this group of people that's almost just blindly obsessed with this one thing. And that's not a bad thing, but that's what they're about. That's what they're labeled
Right.
as. So to take these group of girls that have been only identified as we like this.
And we knew they were different.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's I think why we wanted to start and to give them a new conversation and to see these
whole
whole
new
new
side.
facets and all these wonderful, amazing, interesting components,
Yeah.
and then how they can come up under each other and be supportive
Yeah.
has blown us away.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And it's a mutual. Sorry.
Oh, go for it.
I was just gonna say it's a mutually beneficial thing too,
Yeah.
because I will, you know, when I check up on the comments and the conversations that are going on, it's inspiring to me to read what these girls are saying, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I would have never thought of that. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's so multifaceted, which is I think is so great, and it has so much potential to just go so many places.
Oh,
and
cool.
we love it. That's
Great.
So,
That's awesome.
but totally lost my train of
I was gonna
thought.
say, just to add to that, we really make it an effort to end all of our posts with a question,
Yeah.
because it really is a dialogue, and that's
Right.
like what we would like to keep in mind. And you know, while it is nice to share a quote and you know share an insight on something, what's more important to us is leaving that open-ended question for people to explore what
Right.
it means for them personally, and that's been a gift in itself. Like literally part of the post is seeing how everyone else interprets it and where they take it on their own